new Paladin after rework and patch is quite amazing, even in raid. He was even before, but now I like it a little bit more. So we will go through the stats you should have, the talents, the rotation priority, how to use cooldowns, and a little bit about damage on the end. So let's hop on it. From the stats, we are prioritizing critical and haste. Both of them you should have very high, but most important stat is critical. You should get critical as high as possible, as soon as possible. Not as high as possible. You should keep it between 5,000 to 6,000, 6,000 max. Feel free to have 6,000. It's very crucial to have critical. Critical is so important because we have our 4 pieces, and doesn't matter on 4 piece, but in 2 piece, our Holy Shock critical strike is healed for 60%. So it's a huge value to do critical strike. And then we get reduced cooldown on our Lies of Hammer or Holy Prism by 1 second, 2 seconds. So it's reducing cooldowns for our good ability and 60% more healing when you do a critical strike. And with this one, we also using this talent on the raid, and it's been Holy Sugar, Holy Light, Flesh of Light, critical healing increasing another 20%. That means critical is huge for us. A huge increase our healing, as Holy Shock is our main healing. For Paladin right now is not damage wings anymore in the raid. So in that, if you have critical already, get ham on the haste. Don't check my stats, I had it wrong. I was playing haste versatility before the patch because that was the best stat for dungeons. I'm still changing my stats. So we want critical 5 to 6,000, and then you're going for haste to get 5,000. Should be enough, but you should have at least 5,000. I don't really need more than 5,000. It's a little bit harder to get because you have some gear pieces that are giving a lot of one stat, and like here I have finger that is giving a lot of haste. There is nice reach, but there's versatility. I don't really want versatility, but I would rather like critical right now, but it's there, and that finger is for 962 haste, not actually for that versatility. So some bits and pieces will stay there. So your items, you're looking for critical and haste. That's your primary, absolutely primary stats. And then the rest was left. Doesn't really matter, but if you can choose, you want mastery instead of versatility. Versatility is a little bit better for dungeons. Mastery, it's a little bit better to raid. It's also nice with Paladin, thus same stats are very good to the M+. Just a little difference. That last stat after you have critical and haste, the last one is better versatility than mastery, because versatility is increasing even your damage a little and your defensives. So little change, but doesn't really matter. If you pump critical and haste, you will be good in dungeons, you will be good in raid. That's not where most healers are playing. They usually change stats a little or something between both parts. So I really like, you can just pump critical and haste and you're good in M+ content, in raid content. So from the talents, I will link these ones under the video, and some little variations you can think about. Maybe it's fitting a little bit better for you. From this first 3, or like left 3 and first part, you need to have points there, but you have some points that you can just choose to put anywhere. So for example, these ones you can just recycle. You can get blind instead of interrupt, or you can get retribution aura. Just take this one and put it to retribution SC. You need to have points there. So if you're like only 2 Holy Paladins and there's no other paladin in raid, one guy should play retribution aura, because increasing whole raid damage by 5% is absolutely huge. And when you use aura mastery with retribution aura, it's increasing healing taken by 15% instead of damage reduction, so it's still helping you to heal. It's not wasted cooldown if you do aura mastery with retribution aura. It's still helping to heal. So as for that one, and this blind interrupt, this is more or less just hardcard, because you don't have any more jumping and casting and moving and need to be killed fast ads. So these two just hardcard, you don't need to have that. And this is useful just for killing trash, as there is one between amalgamation and experiments, there are the poison guys that can actually quite fast killing tank, because poison will stack to the heavens. And the right tree, if you have your rate is more or less stacked almost all time. So in any bosses, your rate should be always stacked as tight as possible. First boss you have some spreads, but on bosses like Rashok, you are most of the fight, everybody is stuck together. Apart when you are soaking, then people just run away, but everybody's so close, and you don't need 40-yard range for Light of Down, so you can just sacrifice this 1 point and just put it there. It's automatic concentration cast. I click it. Something wrong. So you can spend 1 point here. It's automatic concentration cast. It will heal a little bit. It will help you with healing, but more or less it's just constant damage that you don't need to care about because you want to use Judgment anyway. Another thing you can think about is Barrier Fight. It's decent. It's like 50-50 if you check top players, top heal per second rates on bosses, like 50% playing Reclamation, 50% Barrier Fight. So if you want to give this a try, go for it, but I really like this one, and it's another thing what I like on it, it's one less thing to think about. You are clicking, this is increasing 50% up to missing health, so Raid is dying a lot, you are healing more with your Holy Shocks, and even getting a little bit mana back. So if you want to minimax, I bet Barrier Fight is better choice if you know how to place it, but I recommend Reclamation. Little bit mana back, and you don't need to think about some extra mechanic, you are just healing a little bit more. Now about some gameplay, or priorities, not rotation. Rotation belongs to DPS. As Holy Paladin, we are doing damage to increase our healing. It's not exactly like Disco Priest, but in your spare time, when it's not something you need to click exactly right now for healing everybody's full or something like that, you should always do damage. Always do damage, and that Holy Power will generate, just use it for healing. So we are using Judgment for that, I'm using Crusader Strike for that. Judgment have higher priority, is much better in rate, even mainly that it's preventing damage done with that enemy. So it's not only damage dealer and giving you 1 Holy Power, but it's also preventing some damage. Crusader Strike is a little bit weaker than in dungeons, because we don't longer have down for a double Holy Power and a little bit more damage, but it's still something you can just click. Contribute to damage, it's costing just 4000 mana, it's not a really big deal, and you have some extra Holy Power from this boy. Holy Shock, we want to rather just click it on a friendly target, but if you really have nothing to do, use it for damage. And last note is not really the second point before we start talking about the heals, and we should be preparing this before the pool and just refresh if somebody died. We need to have our beacons out. Beacons are even more important than it was ever before, because I already talked about this. We have new talent, and that talent is meaning our mastery is proximity, like how close targets are to you. I'm now working how close the targets are to the beacon. So before that, our healing on ranged was not really good. Now, when you just put 2 beacons on ranged because you want to have increased healing to them. So it's really often now that you don't put beacons on tanks, and you should put beacons on ranged DPS or healers. Tanks don't have big problems to survive in end right now anyway, if they don't, obviously, play bad some mechanic. So put it on ranged guys, and who you should put it on somebody who is not really squishy like defensive wise, but he's not healing himself over time. And obviously it should be ranged because you are on melee, so your mastery is good on melee. And for ranged there are good targets like Hunter and Holy Priest and Evoker. They're usually getting more damage taken than others. And unlike Warlocks or Priest is always healing himself because lots of them, their abilities is giving percentage of that ability is just healing that Shadow Priest or Warlock, when percentage of their damage is just stacking shields on them. So they are much better survivability on their own. So that's why these 3 targets. Or just use it on some weaker player, on somebody who has worse gear, on somebody who likes to die more. Or you know that guy is not using defensives. You just check your damage taken. If you have some meters, just click it, damage taken, and you can see in that fight, boss fight, if you are progressing some bosses, you will see who will getting more damage, and click on that. Yep. you would put on priest, definitely, and then somebody else. Yeah, just check damage taken. If you're not sure, we should get it. Also, nice target is Preservation Evoker. Is not really increasing your healing a lot, because Preservation Evoker will heal himself a lot, but it helps him heal a little bit more because his mastery is, and he's going for mastery. If he get more health than target he is healing, that is increasing that heal. So if you put Beacon or Preservation Evoker, you will help him a lot to heal much more. So if you're not sure how to heal and you have some friend that is Preservation Evoker and he's blasting, put it on him and you will even increase his healing. So just try that. So our free time ended. We did some damage, we have some Holy Power and our beacons are ready. And then we should use our Light Hammer. We should use it as much as possible, so basically on cooldown. And we are reducing, if you do critical strike with Holy Shock, we are reducing duration. So just don't wait for that, or don't really plan when you do it, because you never know how many times you will do critical between that 1 minute cast. So just don't play it, and when you have it, use it on cooldown. And then you see, when it's ready, use it again. And next step is start actually healing. This is just some things around, and it's our Holy Power. We are spending it on obvious choice in the raid, Light of Dawn. With this spell, it's only thing you need to think about, well, to have 3 Holy Power. But then you are only thinking to your position because it's frontal, it's healing in front of you. And as you are melee, you are often facing boss and ranged is behind you. That means if you are fighting boss, and let's see, this is your raid in the back, and you will be usually healing just tanks and melee DPS, but you have even beacons on ranged, and it's worth it because you can have 40 yards range from the talents. These boys overheal, so it's really worth it if you have. I cannot heal it because it's not an enemy target. Alright, and we are healing, and it's like, let's say tanks are this pylon, and it should be on the side. That means you see melee DPS is around here, and you have ranged in the back, like these guys there. And when you use it, you will hit melees, you will hit the ranged, and that's your best position. Or if you don't have opportunity to be on the side, so just muck it and maybe go for the hitbox, so your melee DPS is a little bit in front of you, and just turn around, blast it, and go back to smacking it. You are almost not casting anything with Paladin, so it's no problem just to turn around while your global cooldown is up. You are maybe losing one auto attack that is doing, I don't know, 500 damage, so who really cares? Because when you have more than one Paladin in raid, there's a lot of chance that other Paladins are not even rotating on ranged, and ranged are only people that are dying, and you are just blasting AoEs, but nobody is getting healed because you're blasting AoEs to full melees. But you see some people in your UI, oh, they have a little bit less health. Alright, I will turn around, and that's when you start healing, because you actually can heal them. Oh, obviously Holy Shock, you'll be taking that. And that's obvious next choice. It's our Holy Shock. So I'm talk about the Light of Dawn before, because you want to spend that Holy Power. You just don't want to have 5 Holy Power and click another spells and just waste, I don't know, another 8 Holy Power that could be charged and used for ability. So if you have almost full or close to full, just use it before you use the next ability. Just not to waste Holy Power, that is basically free heal. It's costing a little bit mana now, but it's 3000, so let's say it's free heal. So don't overcap that Holy Power and use it before you start clicking. But other than that, Holy Shock is our most important ability, and that's why we've been going for that extra critical as main stat. Its critical strike is healing a lot, reducing cooldown, is leaving glimmers on the target, and yeah, it's healing a lot. Glimmer is buff or debuff that will be left on target when you use Holy Shock on them. Its duration is 30 seconds, and what it's doing when you use next Holy Shock, it's activating. So after you put Glimmer out, and then you use another Holy Shock on different target, any target with Glimmer of Light will get heal or damage. If enemy is getting damage, if it's friendly, obviously it's getting heal. But this heal is now split to all targets. But you're not losing when you have more glimmers, because you can have maximum 8 of them, and every single application of glimmer is increasing this amount by 6%. So you want to have more, even that is, let's say it's healing less, but together when you have 8 of them, it's 8 multiplied by 6%. So keep them out, 8 of them, it's much worth it. And your glimmers are also getting activated by Glistering Radiance talent, so spending Holy Power have 25 chance to get Glimmers of Light, healing and damage. So when you are just using your Holy Power, another chance. It's just chance. Holy Shock is 100% when you use Holy Shock, Glimmers are getting activated. So Holy Shock is another thing. I don't want to say use it on cooldown, but actually you don't want to just sitting in on inventory. So never have 2 stacks. If you have 2 stacks, use one. One stack is alright because its other one is still recharging. Why to use even when everybody is full, you have 2 stacks? Because Holy Shock is spreading glimmers, and if you are overhealing with the glimmers, 50% of that overheal is just shield. So I mean, you have 2 stacks, everybody's full, just prepare that shield. They will get 0.5% of that will be, percent. Half of that will be shield and will protect next damage taken. And a little bit for the glimmers, you can have maximum 8. So you can have some little big aura to track it. This is a little bit bugged. I learned that before. When you put in glimmers or this damage is just not counting. Maybe there are just some special target or something. But when I do on enemy, it's counting. So maximum is 8, so you should have 8. So get some big aura that is counting if you're not sure. But if you are clicking Holy Shocks always on the heal, you have 8. But you should keep 8 because that is maximum. And when you cast another Holy Shock, everybody's getting shield. Are they getting shield? Oh, it's instantly eaten because they are getting like, I don't know, 50 million damage per second, so you can just non-stop heal this training dummies. And Holy Shock also generating Holy Power. So we'll use that Holy Power then for Life Down. And that's basically most of our healing. There are some special situations that need more single target if somebody is real dying. He got, I don't know, extra stacks because he did something wrong. And then you need to really pump single target. So if you have Holy Power, it's just time to blast. Oh, of course, Holy Shock is good choice, but then to increase it, it's Vault of Glory. I should on some myself, you can see my numbers. If Holy Shock's blasting is not enough and you need to spend Holy Power because it's wasted, then it's Vault of Glory, and if that is also not enough and you don't have any more Holy Power, you are casting Flash of Light. We are not using Holy Light in raid. If we are not using it with cooldown, with Hand of Divinity, that's a little bit different. But for actually just casting it because I need heal from it, then we are casting always Flash of Light, and preferably if you have Infusion of Light up, because that's costing you 70% less mana. So my mana, it was all left, it almost nothing. It's healing similar, that Vault of Glory is a little bit less. But if you have none of the Holy Shocks, wrong target. If you run out of the Holy Shocks and you don't have some power or some special procs, then just cast it, but you want that 70% mana reduce. But if that will save somebody's life and that guy will be living longer in that pool, just do that. Obviously it's costing you a lot of mana, so you want to avoid that. And maybe if you have some special occasion, just sometimes, it should be sometimes, but the lay of hands should be taken care of that. Just heal them to top and just live. Or maybe some Blessing of Sacrifice, that will help them. So let's put everything together. We are doing damage. We don't need to actually heal right this second, right this global cooldown. You have prepared the beacons on the target. Needs to range the target, somebody who is getting more damage than others. So obviously you will heal more, but you will help more for the raid because your other healers don't need to heal the targets that much. So you're helping yourself, you are helping everybody else, and you're helping your mastery because it's also proximity to that beacons. And then we are using just Light's Hammer on our cooldown. And when we are actually starting to heal, so if you have Holy Power and it's about to go out, or even we just use Holy Light of Down. It's very cheap on mana, what is required is just that Holy Power. So spell all Holy Power of Light of Down. If you are really chill, you can do a little damage, Shield of Righteous. And then you are blasting Holy Shocks even when everybody is full to just spread those glimmers and prepare shields on the targets. And somebody is dying a lot, and Leo Hands is not enough, just and Holy Shock, just Word of Glory to him, or just Flash of Light. Actually, it's costing a lot of mana, but you want to avoid that. So yeah, everything is about Light of Dawn and Holy Shock for the Paladin. Obviously cooldowns, because they added many cooldowns. So let's talk about cooldowns now. Our old guy, Avenging Breath, or Wings rather, like everybody call it. This is cooldown we have always the Paladin for years and years. It's nothing new, it's buffing everything you do, it's buffing your damage, it's buffing your heal, and it's buffing your critical strike. This talent is 15%, and as your critical is doing what it's doing, is healing a lot, because our critical strike healing from Holy Shock is healing much more than base heal. You're also getting, let's say, I call it free wings from Awakening talents, so you have it much more uptime than just 2-minute cooldown. And as every cooldown in the raid is nice to combine with the others. If you have no cooldown ready and your Avenging Breath just came off cooldown, just use it. It's not worth it to wait another minute for another cooldown. Just you will get it from Avenging, and then you will use your cooldowns. So just use it when you have. Don't wait more than few seconds with that cooldown ready. Just click it. It's not so huge, but it's nice to have it. Next one is Tear Deliverance. We had it before, but now after he got massive buff in the latest patch, it's absolutely huge. And with this one, we always want to click it under cooldown. We want to use it on cooldown, but that's what cooldowns for. You have it ready, you want to use it, but you don't want to waste it. So just don't use it when you know next seconds, next minutes. Shouldn't happen minutes. There is nothing to heal, so wait for them a little bit for more healing heavy. But Tear Deliverance, you can have it 60 seconds up, then half-minute cooldown, because its cooldown is 1.5 minutes. But the original duration is 20 seconds, and then you can extend it by 40 seconds maximum. So you can have 60 seconds up Tear Deliverance. That means it's more uptime than its cooldown for that ability. So you just want to click it on cooldown because it's so long. And when you have it, you just want to extend it as much as possible. Extend is happening through bonus salvation talent, and that means you can see Holy Shock, Flash of Light, and Holy Light are extending it at quite a lot of amount. These abilities, you are using only Holy Shock, but you are using 2 Holy Lights, because always Tear of Deliverance you want to combine with Hand of Divinity. When you're casting Tear of Deliverance, you are casting Hand of Divinity. They have same cooldown and they're working nice together. And with Hand of Divinity, you just cast 2 Holy Lights, and that 2 Holy Lights are increasing duration by twice by 8 seconds. So it's very huge. Holy Shocks are just 2 seconds, but we are using a lot of Holy Shocks. And you need to pay a little bit attention, because there's a lot of people in the raid, and Tear's Deliverance is healing only 5 injured allies. And for extend duration, you need to use that abilities on targets that have Tear's Deliverance on them. So Tear's Deliverance buff is what? It's allied heals also receive 25% increased healing from your Holy Light, Flash of Light, and Holy Shock spells by 12 seconds. So there's one reason to heal the targets, because your healing is increased by Holy Shock. Your Holy Shock, obviously. Light of Dawn, sadly, is not increased. Would be nice. And this is one reason, and the other reason is your extending duration. When you blast it, you should cast the Hand of Divinity before that, and then you see, oh, target have Tear's Deliverance, bam, I will blast to him, and you will see that duration is just rising to the heavens. Can you extend more than 40? I was fast enough, and I hit maximum extend duration. That was after we spent 20 seconds, we have 40 seconds more. So yeah, duration of this is really long, and that's why you shouldn't keep it on cooldown. And it's absolutely massive healing and increased by 25%, and everything good. Everything about this ability is just good. And then we have another voice, and it's another combination of 2, let's say, because we have Daybreak and we have Divine Tool. Oh, coincidence! They have all of them, 2 of them. is not hollow. Both of them have same cooldown, and they are working a little bit nicely together, and we want to almost always use them together in raid. In dungeons we sometimes use the other talent, Divine Soul cooldowns reduced by 15. There you don't need to use it as often, but in raid we want to use them together, same cooldown. And how we are using them, you will just, when you use Daybreak, you are eating Glimmers. You will trigger healing from them by 200% effectiveness, so it's that nice pump heal. And you are getting some mana back. That is also really nice and also really important because, you know, raid and mana, that's the only place we care about mana as a healer. So you'll get some mana back, little nice burst heal, but there's more. So after you ate your Glimmers, then you're getting triple Holy Shocks, and you have no Glimmers, so that triple Holy Shocks, there's a lot of activation of Glimmer. So that's why it's really nice to combine it with Divine Tool, because then you spread under 5 Glimmers out, and obviously you will heal a little, because Holy Shocks is healing, mainly when it's Critical Strike. And then you do just that triple. I like it, call it like that. And every Holy Shock is tripled, that means every these 5 Glimmers you put it before, it's activated, then you have 6, then you have 7. That's why it's a nice combination, and you should usually use it together. So we have Wings, we have 1 double cooldowns, it's Hand of Divinity, Tears Deliverance should be used together. We have Daybreak and Divine Tool, so first we are eating Glimmers, consuming, and then we are replacing them and enjoying that triple Holy Shocks. And we are prioritizing obviously with this one lowest targets because it's triple. Last 2 cooldowns, there are Aura Mastery and Lay of Down. Aura Mastery, we have our Shiny Aura, and if you have Protection Aura, that's increasing damage reduction by 3%. When you use Aura Mastery, it's for 8 seconds and increasing from 3% to 15. If just in case you are playing Retribution Aura, because there's more than 1 Paladin in raid and nobody is Retribution Paladin, because they usually have that Retribution Aura up, but then you are using that one, but don't worry, it's still helping you. It's not damage taken reduction by 15%, but it's healing taken increase by 15%. So during that 8 seconds window, everybody, not just you, everybody is healing 15% more. And the other one is Lay on Hands. It's strong single target healing, is healing 100% of your health. So now I have 600, 1000 is healing exactly for that amount. And don't count on this like, this is my heal, I should put it together with my other cooldowns for healing, I should use it on cooldown because it's healing. Think about this ability as if somebody is really close to dying, it's just panic button, you will save somebody's life. And that's what I talk about. If this pool is close to the end and you know you don't need it, just use it on somebody to get that little extra health per second to the max. But it's just panic button to save some player who is actually almost dead. Still on the end with the cooldowns, that combination, the best you can do and best burst is to use Avenging Wrath and then follow with Hand of Divinity, Tears Deliverance, use it together, and in that duration, Divine Tool with the Daybreak first, then Divine Tool. It's most strong combo, and if you have options to use them together, it's not hard to use Daybreak and Divine Tool inside active Tears Deliverance, because Tears Deliverance is for 60 seconds if you are extending it properly. Aura Mastery and Lay on Hands doesn't really matter if you're combining it with something of obviously the help, but meh. So that should be all from gameplay. Usually I talk a bit about the damage, but there is not much. We don't have much abilities in raid. We don't want to even use Holy Shock as damage if we don't really have nothing else to do. A quick note, we are using Judgment already, we are using Crusader Strike already, and if we don't have talent, Raichu Judgment that have chance to spawn concentration for us, we are spawning it healing a little and it's damaging a little, so just add concentration damage wise, and that's absolutely it. You can check me playing Holy Paladin in raid on video. I will list it under this one, and it's every single mythic raid boss in that video we clear in one day and everything is together, so we can check any mythic boss with Holy Paladin. And in the right side down here you can see what I'm casting on target, which I'm casting, so you can check it a little bit more, the how to play Holy Paladin. I have hold this guide even on my Discord, so check it there. It's in text form, maybe that's better for you. Some people prefer video, some people prefer text. And anyway, thank you for watching and goodbye.